no lives matter. This is a straight war, I'll be real with you. It's war, we're at war. This isn't like, they say there's no friends at war. So I respect the guy, as you said, he's done well, all that good stuff, but we're fighting.
To fight? Not as of yet, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go get my head bashed in. Sparring is sparring, and we can see some sort of technicality being shown. Now, a lot of people are calling it fake. They're saying that it's set up.
Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight.
Anthony Joshua says Jake Paul's training videos are fake and make him look stronger than he really is. He believes practice fights should be tough and fair, warning that the real fight will show the truth. Even though he doubts the videos, Joshua still respects Paul as a serious opponent.
Do you respect him as a boxer?
Yeah, definitely. He's always wanted to be a boxer. He's got a stand-up game. I respect him as a boxer, definitely, yeah, I have to.
Some experts criticize Jake Paul's practice videos, saying he only shows the knockouts to look good. They argue that short clips don't tell the whole story, and we need to see full rounds to judge him fairly. Also, the partner he fought wasn't very skilled, so he was easier to hit than a pro heavyweight. This makes people wonder if Paul is actually ready to fight top boxers.
See some more of the sparring videos. That I agree with that. If we're going to see that clip of you knocking this guy down, we want to see at least a full round. We want to see what you're actually doing. If you're going to show us knocking this guy down, show us more. Is his opponent any good? Okay, that's another very good question. His opponent may just be, and we couldn't really see much of him there. He didn't really throw a shot. His opponent might be a nobody. His opponent might be a guy who started box fit a few weeks ago. So that's a very good point. It's things like this we have to actually ask when we, boxers essentially putting up videos of them knocking people out. Who is this guy? You need to know that, because then that kind of qualifies that knockout or knockdown to be good or bad. Cheap shot in sparring. That wasn't a cheap shot.
Andrew Tate thinks the heavyweights practicing with Jake Paul aren't trying their hardest. He explains that practice is meant for learning, but these fighters hold back because Paul pays them. They just want to finish the job, not actually challenge him. Tate argues that since they aren't punching hard or defending well, it isn't like a real fight. While this helps Paul practice his moves, it won't truly prepare him for a serious opponent.
Do you think that's everything wrong with the sport?
I think as a boxing purist, it's quite upsetting to watch, young fighters struggle to pay the bills and struggle in little shithole gyms around the country trying to get big money fights and going through the Olympics and going through the amateurs and not being able to pay their bills. And I understand how frustrating that can be. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. I don't think it's everything that's wrong with boxing. I think that anything that gets people to tune in to a boxing match is good for the sport.
One more comment that he said was, Jake's been sparring Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight. So are they trying to knock Jake out? No. But are they giving him enough work for him to learn? I like to think so.
Gareth A. Davies sharply warned Duke that Jake Paul could easily lose the fight and run away. He brought up how badly Francis Ngannou was knocked out. Davies stressed that fighting a big, experienced boxer like Anthony Joshua is very dangerous for Paul. He said Paul has never faced a risk this big. According to Davies, as soon as the fight starts, Paul will realize how hard it is. This fight is a real test, not just a show.
I was in Riyadh, and I watched him knock out Francis Ngannou inside 2 rounds.
Yeah.
How can that go 3 rounds with Jake Paul?
It's very hard to knock out somebody that just hasn't come to fight and somebody that's just trying to survive. And that's what I think will happen to Jake Paul.
Do you think he'll run?
I think he'll run like a thief in the night. Once he sees the size of Joshua, those little 10-ounce gloves that they're going to be wearing, he's going to be petrified and his backside will fall out.
I went to the press conference in Miami for that a couple of weeks ago, and he was planning to motorboat AJ, and he thought differently of it when he was standing with him.
Good luck with that, mate.
No, AJ was, he'd have got motorboated out of there.
Listen, mate, listen. Good luck with that, because if he starts out with AJ, puts his chin out and starts trying to goad him in, I think Anthony Joshua will definitely iron him out early.
Do you think he finishes his boxing career then?
Let's hope so.
If Jake Paul does something weird and wins, is that impossible?
Nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Highly unlikely, but not impossible.
If you'd been invited to fight Jake Paul for 25, I've heard it's 25 million, That's me behind the scenes. Other people have told me it's 60. Other people have told me it's more for Anthony Joshua. If you had been a current world champion and you'd been offered that fight with Jake Paul, would you have taken it?
100%.
So he had to take it.
He had to take it.
So you've got nothing against him taking it?
I've got nothing against him taking it, spending the money even. Still got nothing against that. My concern is for the health and safety of Jake Paul and the sport of boxing.
Because boxing will be pulled into the dock if something happens to Jake. It would never have been licensed in the UK, would it?
No.
Jake Paul says his recent practice fights have been very tough. He even said sparring with great heavyweights has hurt his body, giving him a bloody nose. Even though Paul shows clips of knockouts, the full videos tell a different story. Experts looking at the videos noticed that some of Paul's partners acted like his punches hurt more than they did. Sometimes, after a small hit, they would move to the ropes, making it look like a bigger deal. People warn that these clips might look good, but they don't mean Paul is ready to fight someone as strong and experienced as Joshua.
My nose has moved a couple millimeters to this camp. I'm not gonna lie, this sparring, the heavyweights, my nose has slight little something in there. A guy by the name of Frank Sanchez, he definitely cracked it a little bit. But yeah, man, it's bad. Wait, hold on. Look at that, dude. It's like Squidward, dog. But don't respect me for getting in there. Respect me when I beat his ass. I'm not just walking into a fight. I'm going to win. That's what's gonna shock the world. I will become the king of boxing and own the whole entire.
Experts who watched Jake Paul's knockout practice videos wonder if they are real. They saw that the fighters Paul hit sometimes acted like the punches were much harder than they were. They would move to the ropes or corner easily, even from small hits. This makes Paul look very strong, but it might not be the truth about how good he is in a real fight. The partners make Paul look powerful, which is good for his videos. But experts warn that these clips don't really show if Paul is ready for a professional heavyweight fighter.
Oh, I wonder what shot did it, or something like that. Like, even if you, especially if you see a replay, sometimes it happens so fast. Like, if it's a replay, usually like, oh, there's the one, or like you get a reaction when someone gets hit. You're not like, oh, I wonder if. Like, if you're questioning it, then typically the fighter gave in, or decided to kneel down, or push himself out of the ring, or wanted to get out of the fight. You can tell right away. Like, when I land a body shot on somebody, or when I got hit by a body shot, you could tell. I don't know, you guys can make your own assessment, but to me, this is a little sketchy. To me, the person he was boxing obviously pushed himself out of the ring.
BJ Flores, who used to train Jake Paul, explained why Paul makes these choices. He said Paul doesn't just want to be fun to watch. He wants to prove he can fight real boxers. Before, Paul fought famous people or athletes from other sports. But now he is fighting heavier and better boxers on purpose. Flores said this shows Paul is brave and serious about becoming a real fighter, not just doing silly fights anymore.
It looks like a very, very tough fight. And, to anybody in the industry, Anthony Joshua is a world champion, a gold medalist. This is a big difference from, anybody else that, Jake's fought in the past. But, he's looking for these big challenges. He wants to fight the toughest guys. And I think with Anthony Joshua, he got exactly that. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a guy I would have never dreamed in a million years Jake would have fought him in his fifth year boxing in a fight situation like this. I thought he would have given it a little more time. But, this is an extremely difficult fight. Anthony Joshua's 6'6", 245 pounds, extremely dangerous, gold medalist, world champion, and I think this is a very, very difficult fight for Jake. So I wouldn't have made this fight. No.
What do you give it in terms of percentage wise? Like 60% AJ wins, 40% Jake Paul wins, or 50-50, 70-30? How do you give it?
Well, you got to go up when you go off the resumes. That's what I go off of. A lot of people will say potential, like, oh, this could happen, this could happen. I only go off like who's beaten who. So if you look at it on paper, it doesn't look like Jake has any chance on paper, but I think that's probably why he wanted to make this fight. And like I said, I'm not in the camp, so I don't know all the conversations that are going on in camp Jake Paul right now. But on paper, this looks like an extremely difficult fight. And any boxing experts, that I've talked to, whether it's former fighters or whoever, they don't give Jake any chance at all. I'm not saying he doesn't have any chance. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, everybody in the know-how as far as the boxing world, they're like, Jake has zero chance to win this fight. And, it is on paper, though. It does seem like it's early. And it does, seem like it's premature, in my opinion.
So what are you giving it then? A 90-10?
Like AJ's had, I don't know, probably I want to say 13 or 14 or 15 world title fights.
Even though Jake Paul is working hard, some critics question the people he picks to practice with. Some experts say Paul's partners are not like Anthony Joshua. They are different in how long their arms are, how they fight, and how they change their plan. For example, the video of him knocking out Greg Hardy has been called fake because Hardy was easy to hit. Experts say Paul needs practice partners who are fast, strong, and smart like Joshua. If he doesn't use the right partners, his practice may not really prepare him for the big fight.
Jake Paul is sparring all the wrong boxers in his preparation for the Anthony Joshua fight, and let me tell you why. The names that he's got here are Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okolie. They're all professional heavyweights. They are all probably top 20 heavyweights in the world right now, which is fair enough for Jake to bring them in. But in terms of preparing for an opponent, Jared Anderson is too cat and mouse. His game isn't about pure power. It is not about boxing as a boxer-puncher. It is very much an outboxer. Anthony Joshua is not going to do that. Frank Sanchez has his own kind of unique style, but I would still put him in that category as almost a plodding heavyweight. He's very, very slow. His hand speed's not quite there. Defensively, he's not that switched on. And Lawrence Okolie is very, very much a hit and grab style heavyweight. You've seen Okolie, his fights are a little bit boring. Some elements of his game are similar to Anthony Joshua. He's probably the closest match, I would say, out of these guys. But the problem is with Okolie, he'll throw maybe 1 or 2 shots and then he will hold. And when people throw shots back at him, he will hold. Anthony Joshua, he's never been the best at holding. He's never been the best in the clinch. His inside work's not quite there. The height and somewhat the weight would probably be quite the same for these guys, but in terms of actually replicating a boxing style, it would have been far, far better, in my opinion, getting somebody in like maybe a Tony Yoka. Even potentially drafting in Daniel Dubois if he's available. Maybe even a Filip Hergovic. I know Richard Riakpor's just had a fight, but Riakpor, in my opinion, would have been a better pick than all of these guys. Yeah, that is why Jake Paul has chosen the wrong sparring partners. Why this fight's going to be horrible for Jake. But I'll give him his respect. Fair play for bringing actual pro heavyweights in for sparring. Let me know in the comments, do you think these guys are good sparring partners? Think I'm wrong? Or do you agree with me? To improve Jake Paul's chances in the fight. Hit that follow button if you made it this far, and as always, a like, a favourite, a save and a share, a repost, all appreciated. Peace out.
Chael Sonnen talked about what a former champion, Bermane Stiverne, said. Stiverne claimed he heard Jake Paul got hurt while practicing. Stiverne said Paul got a black eye so bad that the fight might have to be moved. He even said some people thought the fight might be cancelled after Paul's practice, calling the fight just a big show to get attention. Sonnen agreed the fight gets lots of attention, but he warned that Paul's injuries could make the event a real problem if they aren't careful. Even with the risks, the fight is still very popular and makes a lot of money.
I don't know what's going on. Lawrence gave him a black eye or something from what I heard, and the fight is not happening after those sparring sessions. It might be a lie or it might be true. I don't know. Just what I heard, so I wouldn't be surprised. If I was his advisor, talking about Jake Paul, I wouldn't take that fight, Stiverne added. I mean, business-wise, it makes sense. The numbers are great and everything, but yeah, if I was like his brother Logan, I would tell him, don't take the fight. I'd rather see you win. Somebody sent me the face-to-face. You could tell. Anthony's language showed he was not scared or whatever. In my point of view, this is going to be a disaster. That breaks my heart. I'm sorry. I am sorry to Bermane Stiverne that the educational system has failed you so greatly. I'm sorry to Bermane Stiverne that you are the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize to Bermane Stiverne that you are the heavyweight champion of the WBC, and I have never read your name until right here, right now. Now, I'm not looking to be a dick about it, but this is bad. This is very bad stuff. I heard somewhere not long ago, I don't know where. Well, Bermane, let's help retrace your steps. Where have you been recently? Did you hear it today? Did you hear it at the gym where you told us on the phone? I know you didn't read it somewhere. So, Bermane has information, but he doesn't know where he got it.
Analyst Joey Knight said Jake Paul knows that big fights get lots of attention and make a lot of money. Fighting a famous champion like Joshua means everyone, news, social media, and boxing fans, will watch. The whole show is planned to get people talking and watching. Paul's team is good at keeping everyone interested. Knight said Paul knows what he is risking and is not just doing this for fun. He knows this huge fight can help his career a lot.
can make a lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag? Or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of Southern area champions.
Famous announcer Michael Buffer talked about how Jake and Logan Paul have changed boxing. He said the brothers brought many young people who use the internet to watch the sport. This makes boxing more exciting and brings attention to fights that might not have been noticed before. Buffer said that even though some old-school boxing fans don't like the Paul brothers, they bring a new kind of fun to the sport. They make sure big fights like Paul versus Joshua are talked about all over the world.
Well, Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing. He knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have, like, you know, they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
These two stood face to face, and the comment section on the internet was going crazy. They were like, call the ambulance now, basically. Like, Anthony Joshua looks dangerous standing next to him.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of people saying it's not smart. If he somehow was able to surprise the world, what does this do for his?
The word would be surprised if he shocked the world. But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself. So we'll see what happens.
Technically, though, what's the biggest concern for you? What's the biggest tip you can give Jake, knowing that you've watched Anthony so many times dominate?
Work on your defense.
That's all for this video today. Come back next time.